Greetings and peace. I hope you and yours are doing well today, wherever you might be watching this from. Now, the title of today's video or talk will be my response to the NPR article, which talks about the dwindling ranks of the Freemasons, and myself being a Millennial Freemason and also part of a racial and religious minority group, on top of somebody that has entered the fraternity at a young age, left the fraternity, fought the issues of racism, and came back to the fraternity. And I have experienced what this fraternity has to offer in more than one country and jurisdiction. So I will give my point of view on the approach on how the issue of the dwindling ranks can be resolved and what are the values of Freemasonry that can not just help the young people but can help unite humanity in their own ways. Now, what I talk about in my videos or on my channel, under the laws of free speech and as a free man, those views are my own. I do not represent any Grand Lodge statement or opinion or thought in any way. I represent my own self and my own point of view to help benefit those who can make the effort to listen and understand what I'm trying to tell them. So that being said and out of the way, I would like to explain my journey in a way. So, growing up as a child, I was always curious, you could say, about different people coming together. I would attend Bible school, Quran classes, go to the Sikh temple nearby. Everything I would do because I wanted to see human unity. That's what my goal was in life. It still is to this day, even in my current age. And in American society, you do get this blessing, or Western society in general, you get to see this blessing of all the different complexions and backgrounds, everyone studying together, working together. But you also have different, how you could say, different invisible barriers that are there that keep people divided based on their neighborhoods, religion, and so many other things. On paper, everyone is free, but there are invisible barriers which are part of the society in general, which people have spoken up about in terms of many scenarios that have taken place. And going through the system, I was always curious. I knew there was more to this world than what was really shown to us. So throughout high school, throughout all my time, I would always read books. I would always read so much. Right now, maybe the kids don't do that as much anymore, but I know growing up myself, I used to read a lot of books which helped me get a grasp on the English language as a whole also. And that opened my mind to so many beautiful things and imaginations. And I know in elementary school, my reading level used to be so high that in elementary school I would be reading Tolkien's Lord of the Rings novels, Harry Potter novels, and the Hobbit novels. Like, I was really into to see the world in a different way, and that's what carried me throughout my life. And in high school, I started looking into Freemasonry. One of my dear friends, he suggested to me that, hey, you know about this, and I looked into it. At that time, YouTube was fairly new. I believe 2010, late 2009, early 2010. I started looking into it. There was a lot of good stuff I saw, and then there was a lot of conspiracy stuff I saw, but that's what it is, right? When you try to look for information, you'll have 10 sources that will claim one thing and 10 sources that will claim another thing, and each will dispute that they're right. So as life went on, I graduated college, ran a business, did everything that a man does in his life, and I ended up joining the fraternity later on in my life, a little bit after high school and college. I experienced the beauty of it. I saw what it was about. And I had studied too much to know that there was more to this aspect of unity and brotherhood than what one experiences in the lodge room. Most in the West are restricted to what they see in the lodge and not beyond that. But myself, someone who has traveled from different countries and seen the power and unity of this brotherhood, on top of me walking another path of an adept initiate, Sufism. So this basically opened up many doors for me to see how humanity can come together under the unity and know that all races and religions are teaching you the same values and are teaching you the same thing. And why can't we all come together to not just help ourselves but to help mankind? But what we see right now in, I guess, in the leadership, or everyone has their issues that they address. The people that are joining, especially the younger people, they're not being given what they ask for, right? So if I could stay home and pay $60 for a video game, and that video game can probably entertain me at least maximum 6 to 7 months. So I do get my money's worth out of that $60 that I spent. So a lot of these young people, they're lacking something. They don't have the same aspects of relationships that our parents and grandparents did. Youth, drug usage, and loneliness and suicide is at an all-time high. And when they come to these events and they see the same thing over and over again, it's they don't like what they see because they joined for their spiritual growth. Now, why are the numbers dwindling? Because you have to give them what they want. A lot of these, myself, millennial, but even the generation after me, Generation Z, they're very socially active. They want to see human unity. They want to see social issues resolved. And you have some lodges that are stuck in their ways, some that have their own prejudices and biases. And when young people come and see that, some will speak out against it, see how far they can get away with it. Like I was one of them. And that's one of my goals, is to reform the brotherhood, and I will. That's one of my promises to Almighty God, to do so. And there are those that will not put up a fight, and they will quietly go away because they know, oh, it's just a bunch of people from the old generations. It's just a social club. They're not teaching me anything. I could learn everything from YouTube, and I don't need to invest my time, energy, take time away from my family just to go here and waste my time and not get anything out of it. So you have to be willing to give them something that they want, honor their values, and be able to do something that honors them in return. And it's about finding the right pick. There's not enough esoteric lodges that are around. Everything is just about maintaining a system of control, and you really don't have much freedom unless you get approval from a certain protocol, and that really doesn't help you out when somebody wants to do things in a certain amount of way. And that's why you see in this pandemic how online Masonic education has basically taken off. So something that got neglected so much, the pandemic forced everyone to address the issue of education, which it has. You have my channel. I had it for a year. I've been posting stuff that other people don't talk about, subjects I want to address that other people will not talk about. You have other channels and other great brothers that have popped up that have taken the initiative into their own hands as builders, as we should, to publish books, to publish lectures, publish videos, talk to people like I have, like others have. That's the drive of what the young people want to see. They don't want the old generation biases, prejudices, anything that hinders their spiritual growth in there any way. Yes, we have tradition, we have to honor that, but anything which you could say, well, let me give an example from my point of view, where you'll have a man that says all men are created equal, and he will call you a brother in lodge, but then he can go online and post something against Islam or post something against Muslims. And you have to realize that you representing yourself as a Mason is more outside of the lodge room, on your community, in your jobs, on social media. You represent not just yourself, but that collective brotherhood. So your actions and how you portray yourselves, your etiquettes, that's what really matters. Even this NPR article that got posted in a lot of Masonic groups, people were just displaying immature etiquette and behavior. They were still fighting with each other about who's right and who's wrong, prideful, egotistic. And anyone that's a non-member that looks at that, they will not want to affiliate with you, right? So you have to be the better example. I can say I'm a better man and I'm this and that, but if I'm not leading by example and showing them through my actions, then people are going to go away from me. If you have a non-Mason that's watching an argument on Facebook between two Masons, and he'll think like, hey, they're no different than the normal people. What's so special about them? They're still falling for the same tricks of divide and conquer and fighting with each other and breaking friendships and cutting each other off. Shouldn't we be better than that? And that's the aspect that we need to display in our behaviors. And that's what will attract the younger people. And I'm someone that has entered, left, and came back to the fraternity because I did not want to let those people win who wanted to drive me out and run me out of here. Because I know my purpose, who I am, what I stand for through the good and bad times of life. The black and white Masonic tiles. Good days, bad days, good days. But my conviction is set. And that's what a lot of these higher ups need to focus on rather than having a sales pitch about increasing members and numbers. That's not helping anybody. So we need to focus on bringing that light and love back to these lodges and to the brotherhood in general. And you got to look at it, a lot of things from my point of view as well. And the aspect of finding out what's right and how to approach things in a better way. And myself as a Pakistani Muslim, I'm making my channel, I'm putting out meaningful content. So many people have reached out to me and thanked me for what I've done. I published a book, I did everything, and my channel is probably at 800 subscribers. And you'll have somebody else that might just post a few videos and they will get endorsed by everyone. They'll have their subscribers jump up right away, because at the end, we have, like I said, we have to address those biases as well. I mean, look at me. I'm a Pakistani Muslim, and that's something that's new to this aspect in many ways as well. And yeah, there will be those who probably want to see you fail or try to run you out, but you got to stay steadfast. As long as even one subscriber, I made a difference in their life, or one person that read my book or heard me talk. If I made a difference in the life of one person, then I fulfilled my purpose. And that's what a lot of Masons of color have this, I guess, this issue that they address, that we have to work 10 times harder to get half of what you have and to prove ourselves. But I address those younger generation brethren that never lose hope. If I was able to make it and I'm doing everything to the best of my ability, then you can do so also. And you have to find a lodge that works for you. I remember when I was leaving one jurisdiction, when I was angry and I left, and I was fighting with everyone, calling everyone hypocrites because they did not stand by the values that they promised that they would. And they all turned their backs on you and they said, oh, you ignore the problem, or we're the silent majority. Well, if you were the silent majority, then your consent is allowing some of those things to happen. And the Grand Master of the jurisdiction at that time that I was dealing with, he told me that I had to find a lodge that works for me. He knew what kind of heart I had, and I will always love him and cherish him as a brother. And I'm glad that everything I did in Masonry so far, I hope I was able to honor him and make it up to him. And he told me that you have to find a lodge that works for you, or a jurisdiction that works for you. And I took his advice. I took a year off. I found something that worked for me, and that was that. And that's another thing I learned in Masonry, is that you have good and bad in all races, religions, groups. So if you have one bad experience, let's say somebody from the younger generation that joins and gets disappointed, you must realize that all fingers are not the same size. Find a lodge that works for you, whose members are more welcoming to you. They make you feel welcome, involved, and you get something out of each experience. That's another way you address the issue of dwindling ranks, is first ask the person before they join, what is it that you are joining for? And make sure that intention, what they're joining and investing their time, money, energy, and resources, is addressed. And when they join, then everyone has to live up to those values, whether online or in person, about saying all men are equal. You have to really be about that. And because we all have a price to pay. And the thing is that if my eyes don't open up tomorrow morning, I can face Almighty God, saying I said who I said I was. I loved everyone. I respected everyone based on their character, not on what they look like or where they came from, or what they practice and what they follow in their path in their own way. So as you've seen in my YouTube playlist, I cover all the paths that are out there, and I relate it to Freemasonry to show the world that the oneness and the path that we follow of human unity can be found in all of these paths. And that's the drive that we should be showing the younger people, not the aspect of your God or my God or your race or my race. We should all be coming together for a common bond of brotherhood, for there is oneness in all of it. And as you see, with any product that gets described in the stores, if the person is not getting the product that has been described to them, what do? They go online, they'll leave a bad review, or they'll go to the store and ask for a refund or in exchange for something better. So that's how we must appeal to the young people, myself being from that generation, and address their issues of loneliness, not and seeking that light and knowledge and esotericism that they so crave to better their life and understanding of humanity, the universe, and their own self. And ask them, what is it that you want, and give that to them. And make sure that aspects of human unity, love, and understanding are displayed always. Because where else in the world can we come together and love one another? Rather than us falling apart, we should be the example to the world. Especially in COVID-19, where I've seen in some countries how they carried out and helped people with the food pantries and distributing PPE and so many other things that the Masonic groups and jurisdictions have done. And we must strive to live up to those examples. And you have to lead by example. That's how the younger people will look up to you and come approach you to better their own self and their own life. So the aspect of dwindling numbers, when those that are in positions of leadership actually make the effort to bring in the change and make the changes, and some of them have done so, I commend them for that. Such as recently with the racial unrest that was happened in the States, and all of the jurisdictions kind of came together to form that unity between all bonds and walks of lives. And I tip my hat off to those people and those leaders for the great work that they've done. And that's what will inspire and show the young people that this is a beacon of light in a world that's fallen apart with anger and hate and mistrust and family and friends cutting each other off over minor things. Here we are, somebody that can teach you the understanding of self, God, your path, so you can follow your own path in your own way. And you must live up to those values. But if you portray yourself as any other social group that's out here, with the same imperfections of mankind, of fighting with one another and biases and prejudices, then the younger people would not want to affiliate with you. So without me getting too deep into it or going on for too long, I hope I was able to cover, as somebody from this generation who has left, came back, and returned to this fraternity, to show what its values are and how it could help the younger people of today and in their issues that they're facing today in a lot of ways. And we must be willing to address those. And if they are addressed honestly, with the goodness for everyone and the good intentions for everyone, not just the bias for a few, then that's when you'll see a huge turnaround. Because that's how it inevitably is going to end, in a digital format or in other ways, depending on how and which direction humanity goes towards. So thank you for listening to my video. My love to those who always agree with me and show me love. My love to those who don't agree with me. We're all in this together, and we're all walking each other home with our own understandings. And my love to you, your loved ones, and all that you hold near and dear to your hearts for the rest of this year and 2021. And may 2021 be a bountiful year for all of us in all ways, shape, and form. Thank you again, and God bless all of you.